President Trump threatening to seal the southern border after talks to reopen the government stall. We're also learning that President Trump is skipping his annual New Year's Eve party in Mar-a-Lago due to the shutdown. Fox News confirming now that Nancy Pelosi, soon to become Speaker of the House, is not in D.C. She's on vacation. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders going after the Democratic leader earlier.
Right now, what we've seen from her is that she's unwilling to actually do anything until she gets her speakership. She's more willing to protect that than she is to protect our borders and protect American lives, and we hope that we'll see that change over the next couple of days.
And Republicans calling Senator Chuck Schumer a hypocrite for comments he made about border security in 2009.
Illegal immigration is wrong, plain and simple. Until the American people are convinced that we will stop future flows of illegal immigration, we will make no progress on dealing with the millions of illegal immigrants who are here now and on rationalizing our system of legal immigration. We must do as much as we can to gain control of our borders as soon as possible.
So, Lawrence, I've been thinking for a couple days, we actually talked about this a little bit yesterday, is there a possible deal to be made here? That the president gets, let's say, $2 million for the wall.
$2 million?
Or $2 billion, I'm sorry. Oopsie. Okay, that wasn't a great deal. $2 billion. It's Friday, guys. $2 billion in exchange for something like DACA, right? Because it's clear that once the Democrats take over on January 3rd, they can pass a clean funding bill with no money for the wall, which possibly could pass the Senate. Is that a deal that could possibly work, do you think?
No, I don't think a deal is possible because they don't agree with the symbolic measure, right? They don't believe that the whole theory of the wall, the campaign trail, him going down the escalators, all of that image to their voters, they just can't vote for anything like that. And so they will never give him the wall because of the symbolic measure. But I think this highlights something. Looking at Chuck Schumer, what changed with him? What changed with Barack Obama? Yeah, right. Something had to change. And that's why I started the last segment by saying I feel like the entire debate is disingenuous because they know. And I know they know because they said it in the past. You just cannot have an open border.
Right. Kennedy?
It's interesting because I like that Chuck Schumer is being confronted with his own words here. And, you know, as we make resolutions for the coming year, you have to look back on the resolutions you made last year. And did you fail yourself? You know, go back and look at last year's list and the year before. And I think that's what some Democrats have to do because they talk a big game, but for a lot of their voters, this is a NIMBY issue, not in my backyard. And they want to see something done on immigration. And, you know, he acts so high and mighty now and so self-righteous, and he thinks he's so much better than the president in terms of how he argues about immigration. And I may actually agree with Chuck Schumer on certain points, but when he said just a few years ago, people who went to the United States without our permission are illegal aliens, and illegal aliens should not be treated the same as people who entered the United States legally. That is in diametric opposition to the statements that he made.
He probably still believes a version of that. And Jedediah, one thing I think Democrats push back on, I know you think it's just the symbolism of the wall, but to a lot of Democrats, we feel like the president is just saying the wall will fix it. It's the wall, end all, be all. By the way, Mexico is going to pay for it. Now taxpayers have to. It doesn't seem like the president's talking about a comprehensive fix.
Like
he's just focusing on, exactly.
Yeah, like a broader plan. But I think that's true. That's a fair point. I think it would do him justice to actually broaden out from the wall and talk about the other issues as well. But you talked about, you know, what changed. One of the things that changed was Trump. Trump made this issue a prominent issue. Republicans oftentimes don't put this as the lead issue. This was a guy who was out on the campaign trail talking about immigration first, talking about this wall, talking about how Mexico was going to pay for it, which I thought was a mistake at the time because I didn't see that happening. But he put it front and center, and by virtue of him doing that, everybody that loathed him now had to hate that policy. I mean, Chuck Schumer sounds like Donald Trump in that clip that we heard. He's echoing the very same talking points. But now, because this is Trump's issue and because the wall has become a priority for Trump, when they oppose Trump, they have to oppose that measure, even if it's counterintuitive to what they've been saying for a very long time. So I wonder how much of this is opposition to Trump or opposition to the actual policy.
Well,
Because I think a lot of it is about Trump.
It may
it's
be
interesting
both.
because the president has talked about immigration in terms of filling some of the labor shortages here, and he's talked about needing workers. And you're never going to hear most of the press talk about or cover the kind statements that he's made, which also can seem hypocritical, but. The president also talks about the wall as though it's a force field.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily a force field. And it's not going to stop every type of illegal immigration. And it's not going to stop drugs from coming in because drugs come in through San Ysidro, through the main ports of entry.
That's fair.
And there is that is actually not the best way to combat the drug problem in this country. There are some other ways that are libertarian and a little unsavory to the family audience.
This is why the argument doesn't go anywhere, because there's this weird fallacy that if somebody says, well, the wall won't prevent X, that negates the premise of the wall. Actually, yeah, the wall won't prevent overstayed visas, but a fence won't prevent a falling rock. But conflating the two, you actually negate the benefits of either, right? So you can actually say, if you want something, here's what you do for the fence. You put up a fence, and here's what you do for the overstayed visa. The problem here, okay, so that's that argument. It's gone, right? You can use the fence for this. You can use this for that. You don't need to do that anymore. We should move on. But we can't when it's personal, right? So this is now personal because there is no impersonal reason to reject a compromise. And Donald Trump is willing to make a deal because he likes making deals. And let's face it, he's been moving toward the middle. Anytime you're going to embrace DACA, seriously, Marie, if he's going to piss off a lot of people if he embraces DACA, but he is going to make it. He is willing to do anything for that wall, and it's idiotic for the Democrats. He will budge because he knows that you can get piece by piece. He is willing to give.
Will he budge?
Yes.
And for what?
But the point is, it's not about him now. It's about Chancey. Chuck and Nancy. Right now, they're in a. This is like a divorce that stays together because of the kids. What you need right now is a mediator, right? You need a mediator to come in there. The mediator has to be an engineer who tells you exactly what is needed for the specific parts of the country, because God knows these politicians don't know what it is. So they sit there and they fall back into their same arguments. Well, the wall's not going to fix X. And he goes, well, we'll deal with that. Here's what the wall is good for. We do know that they have walls around their compounds. They have walls around their swimming pools. They have walls around their wherever she's staying in Hawaii has a wall. So
yes,
they
but
work.
You're right about DACA and conservatives. If DACA means amnesty,
right?
If DACA equals amnesty, there is a very loud part.
If the Dems were pushing this agenda that Trump is actually offering, it would be hailed as a humanitarian effort by the media, because it would help the job market with lower middle, and it would just create more jobs. It would create a pathway to citizenship. The media would love this, but unfortunately, Trump's doing it. Anytime Trump does something, the media has to hate it.
Yep. We will see if he does veto some sort of bill that he gets once Congress comes back in a few days. We will keep watching it. See how
Will we keep watching? Really? I don't know if I will.
We might not, actually.